Green Lantern issue 9, Jeffrey Thorne writing with Tom Rainey and Marco Santucci on the art. Matt, the only one who read this, so take it away.
Why do I do this to myself? Because I really care about the Joe story. Um, but to get to the Joe story, we have to go through the John story, who I feel like that this doesn't fit John Stewart as a character by trying to make him ascended. Because for me, he's always the most down to earth of the Lanterns. Kyle's the dreamer. Kyle's the dreamer. Guy's the hothead. Hal's the who's ever writing him puts on a new one. He could be the leader or the Joker or whatever. But John was always like almost like the conscience of the Green Lantern. And here, putting him in, I get why Thorne's putting him in the story with the New Gods. They're adding a level of predestination that I do not like. So it starts with John on this planet where the dude on the Metron chair is sitting. We find out that he is on the Lightbringer world. He takes out all of the angel-looking dudes, and through the one god, what's his name, Lonar, finds out that this guy is a new god, but he's a student of High Father and Metron, and that basically he's trying to bring upon the Lightbringer in order to swing balance or some weird god shit. Like, I don't know exactly what the new gods represent, and John even brings that up when he's talking to Lonar, where he's like, I thought you guys were just superpowered aliens, and Lonar's like, oh, there's more to us than that. But John, because he has ascended, is basically able to use the Green Lantern energy through his body in order to destroy this Lightbringer that they're trying to build. And when he goes like kind of supernova, he ends up having a flashback to high school where he's standing up for the kids that are getting bullied, and his teacher's telling him that the world needs people like you because you'll stand up for those that need it, because you can use your size and strength to intimidate or bully, but instead you use it to protect. But as he's saying this, the whole crowd starts to turn into Guardians, and the teacher ends up being Ganthet. And so, Lonar, the story is telling him about who this guy is. His name is Isak. He's the one that put the bounty on the rings because he believes that the Green Lanterns are throwing off the balance because they are immune to the conversion that he's trying to bring the Lightbringers with. So, the people that they're picking up are kind of going into this trance. You can't do that with people that are meant to be Green Lanterns, right? Because they have that force of will. And so John ends up using this ascendancy power to destroy this Lightbringer with Lonar. And Isak gets upset and says, what have you brought on? And by him destroying this Lightbringer form, it ends up bringing up a God storm. All that stuff it's whatever. But then we get to the science cells with Joe, and she's interrogating the magic chick. What's her name? It's weird. Let me find it on here. Shoot. They really make it. Oh, it's Iridian, right? So she's talking that that they were, you can put us in these cells, but you're never gonna silence us. And Joe starts using her, experience as a cop in a unfamiliar world to get the information out of her. And she, talks about they've been around since Oa. So he goes, Oa was still a pool before we dropped our pebbles in. We're here to watch everything ripple. And that she's from this magical world, and they just don't understand that the magic was meant not to be contained by the Green Lanterns. and that this is what the Rogue Guardians knew, that, you know, that in order to perceive, get the balance. What?
I saw Pete laughing at me, struggling with the headphones.
I was hoping he was going to snap himself in the face with the headphones.
Gotcha.
It didn't happen though.
Gotcha. But yeah, so she talks about how they talked about the arrow that killed Koyos, and that basically through that Koyos sacrificed himself. He was the Rogue Guardian. That they knew that when he died, they would put his body into the power battery, and effectively he turned himself into a bomb to transcend into something else, because that these beings of magic are way more powerful than anything the Green Lanterns could ever dream to be. She says, evil as the rest, yet finally able to see their crime and hungry to erase it, because Koyos had stole stuff from them. They promised to return their magic, so we made the arrow. So Jo figures all this out. She ends up burning through her power and ends up crashing back to where Kelly and Simon are. And there's a huge art mistake in that Simon's there, and Pete, if you remember, he has the robo arm. They're calling him Broken Lantern or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
These last 2 pages, that's completely undone, and he's just regular Simon without the robo arm and stuff. So
don't worry, they'll fix it for the trade.
Ta-da!
Yeah. Right.
so
they made a deal.
So someone just magicked his arm back. It's fine.
Yeah, right.
That's all.
So she lands, her power's dissipating, and she says that they made some kind of a deal. I don't know, to something to do with magic. And she goes, no, Koyos is alive. He's holed up in the Shadow Vault, but he's coming back. And as she says that, there's this loud booming voice says, I am Koyos. I have returned to Oa. And he is like merged with the power battery, has like a tentacle creature as a crown, and says your time is done. And it ends with Simon, going, oh shit. But it's written in the, fun expletive font. And yeah, next it says the Anti-Guardian. This book keeps getting weirder and not in a good way. Like, I was enjoying all the Jo stuff a lot, and just to find out you have these Rogue Guardians that have made some deal, I'm sure, to do with the Starheart, with magic, and going to their planet and promising them that they'll take control. And that's very typical Green Lantern. The other half, with John being this person that's meant to ascend and use his power and whatnot, like, yeah, that's very John Stewart, but at the same time, it kind of takes his down to earthness away from him. Like, if he was always meant to be this like new god, where I almost feel like he's meant to be the Slightbringer, like they're kind of doing the torchbearer thing that they did with Kyle way back when, that he's going to be the one to bring the Green Lantern power back or whatever it is. That's reasonable. It's so weird. And when this started, him getting lost out in space and being so excited that they were creating these side teams, right? And we're going to have this kind of new order. Now to become this weird God-focused story with magic guardians, it's quite a turn. And it's not necessarily bad, but I don't enjoy reading it. And I think it's my last issue just because I can't, like, I'm not enjoying reading this anymore. So yeah, I'll give this a 6. It's not bad, but it's not my thing.
That's a shame.